was in the military, I learned to unload a firearm by removing the source of the ammunition, i.e. the magazine, and then locking open the slide. However, that doesn't seem to work that well for the civilian world. See, if you compare, like, the armed professionals in the military, where people are actually carrying a gun and they're fighting all the time, you're very rarely going to find those types of people have negligent discharge. And now, the services like the Air Force or the Navy, where that aren't like security forces or something, or who have weapons all the time and always have to go through an unload loads process or whatever, you're going to see them having negligent discharges or having accidents or whatever, because they don't really spend that much time around guns. It's not really their fault. It's just a fact. So it seems to me that it's just the same as the civilian world, where there's a compressed training cycle for the people, the branches, and the people that don't really spend all that much time around guns. It's so compressed that they basically gloss over unloading procedures or safe handling in general, or even the safety rules and stuff, and it's not really drilled into your head. In the Marine Corps, everybody learns this stuff. There was pain if you didn't, comply or do things exactly the right way. So, I think from my experience in the civilian world, it would be a lot easier for procedural memory if they learned in a different way, and actually kind of the opposite way of what they've learned, because if you think about the unload process for the military, it's the same process, like the areas that they're going after in process, in sequence, as the loading. So in loading, you'll insert the source of ammunition, and then you will send the bolt home, or you'll charge it, or whatever. For unloading, they remove the source of ammunition and lock the bolt to the rear or rack it, whatever. And so that's how they do it. However, for the civilian market, where people get in trouble the most, and even in law enforcement and federal too, is they just take out the source of the ammunition, and then they get distracted, and then they, boom. And so that's a problem. Now, I have this different idea about unloading. I think it's one of the most important things, because this is where the accidents happen a lot. Like during cleaning, people will remove the magazine. They won't even remember that they actually charged the gun. Maybe it's been sitting for a while and they didn't even remember that they decided to load all their guns. So, yeah. My idea is that everything is focused really around the ejection port, because this is where the action happens. This is how we see what's going on, and this is where all the magic happens, as far as, like, we have combustion happening in here, we have primers being striped in here, and also we have bullets leaving brass in here. So we have a lot going on in the ejection port. So the ejection port is our focus, and it needs to be our visual focus. If you can't see, get a white light. So we don't need to be looking for Wonder Woman bullets and stuff like that. We don't need to go that ridiculous, like kind of like putting your safety on during a bolt lock reload. Yeah. So there is a point where you are actually getting ridiculous. Okay. So, anyways, my idea is the first thing that you should be doing is disengaging the firing capability of the firearm. That's it. You're unloading the firearm. You should be disengaging the firing capability of the firearm. So theoretically, if this thing was loaded, if it's even possible that it's loaded, you treat every weapon as if it was loaded, right? Is it capable of firing right now? Yeah? Okay. Well, let's go through the military's way. Is it still capable of firing? Yeah, and actually this is the most common way that they have negligent discharges. Okay. Now is it capable of firing? Oh, probably not. Not in this locked back state. And the point is to keep it locked back, not just holding it back to where you can slingshot it. So that can be a long process, and that's where a lot of people get messed up. So my idea is the first thing that you do is you disengage the firing capability of the firearm, and then you go through your unload process, just like with malfunctions. Okay? Disengage the firing capability of the firearm, and then clear. Lock, clear, do what you got to do. Okay? It's very simple. Now, I know there's going to be arguments about it, how, oh, well, I want to remove the source of ammunition first because there's a possibility that I could have a follow-on negligent discharge if I don't. that would literally be on you because you just locked it back. And you can see. And one probably popped out. And you can see that there's ammunition in here. I often will actually have the gun locked back on the bench at a range or here at where I'm at, because I have a range here, and on my property. I will load up a mag, I will put in the gun, and I will keep the slide locked to the rear so they can see. Locked to the rear, it's on you. There's no question of whether I charged it or not. They will have to complete the process. So, I will hand it to them safely, as such. Not in front of the barrel. Just like so. So they can go in, and they can get a competent grip, and they can handle it appropriately. That's how I handle a firearm. That's how I hand it to them. It just makes sense to me. Okay? So you lock it back first, and then you can take out the source of ammunition. Disengage the firing capability of the firearm, and then unload it. Unload and show clear. Alright. It can't go bang when this is the first thing that happens. Is it capable of firing? Yes. Is it capable? No. Still not. Okay. How is that worse than capable of firing? Capable of firing. Now it's not. Okay. I think I, beat the dead horse into the ground. Hopefully it's as deep as I need it to be. So, anyways, let me know what you think in the comments below, whatever side of the fence you're on. So, anyways, this is a group chat. Have fun with it. Throw some punches in there, whatever. You guys, have a good one.